Scoot over a little bit. You're crowding me.
I need the camera. I must have the camera.
All right, Buck Fever.
Welcome to the Rowdy.com Big Three, sitting alongside Jerome Buzz Cutler. I'm Leonard Bassmasters. We're talking about NASCAR here on a Thursday afternoon. Or is it morning? I think it might be morning.
It's morning, but by the time they see this, it will be afternoon. Issue number one.
What's issue number one?
Well, Ford Motor Company has announced that they are discontinuing altogether the Mercury product line. Of course, Mercury has a long historical relationship with NASCAR. What does this mean to NASCAR or mean to you as a NASCAR fan?
It just throws me off. I mean, next thing you're going to tell me is there's no more Studebakers or Hudsons. I don't know what to say except these things happen. The automobile industry is changing. There's no way, I think, in this day and age, for the automobile industry to support so many different brands and the support structures that go with each brand. It's just inefficient. Think of it like this. Think of it like the consolidation of NASCAR teams that we see. Used to have so many one, maybe two car teams.
So the great wave of consolidation
is affecting the auto industry too.
The manufacturers. You know, I didn't realize, or I didn't remember until after I started looking into this morning, that the Wood Brothers and David Pearson were running Mercuries. You know, you think of Wood Brothers as being a Ford team.
Right.
But during those glory years of the 70s when Pearson won 11 of 18 and when he won the 76 Daytona 500 over Richard Petty, he was running Mercuries. So there is a historical connection, but let's face it, Mercury hasn't won a race since 1980 when Neil Bonnet did it at Talladega, and that was their last year in the series. We can still appreciate Mercury's historical place in NASCAR without sort of lamenting that this is the end of an era, because in all honesty, it's really not.
Reality is often painful, Cutler. That's just the way it goes.
It hurts, it hurts.
And you know what? I remember, the first car that I remember was my dad's old Mercury Comet, so.
All right, issue number two. Jimmie Johnson basically came out and said, yeah, I was pushing...
Shall I distract you with this flag?
Yes, please, Buck Fever. Jimmie Johnson basically came out and said, yeah, I was pushing too hard in the 600. I was pushing too hard to get back to the lead lap, and it ended up biting me in the butt, and I have to get back to points racing.
Well, I think of it this way. Now, what's our theory been on Jimmie the last couple of years? That he's willing to go a little bit further outside the box during the regular season to learn things that he can apply in the chase. And I personally believe that theory. I'm not saying the races are test sessions. I wouldn't go that far. I just think that team is willing to try stuff because they have sort of a cushion or a comfort zone. Well, you reach a point where you have a few bad races in a row, and that's just facing reality too. I cannot push so hard, whether it be with how I drive or what we put in the race car. I have to knock down some top 10 finishes here and get my little cushion back, because he's what, 7th in the points? Is he down to 7th in the points now? Where is he in the points?
I don't remember.
Is he that far down? I might be confused.
I don't have that in front of me.
You have to go to rowdy.com and look it up.
Look, I hear a lot of people complaining, a lot of fans out there complaining about points racing. Why? That's the way to succeed in this sport in this day and age. Jimmie Johnson is a competitive guy, but he's also one of the smartest competitors you're going to meet. Now, sometimes his competitive passion might get the best of him, and he pushes, but he's smart enough to know that if he keeps pushing, race in and race out, it's not going to get him where he needs to be, which is in the top 12 come Loudon.
Well, you also, Cutler, have to acknowledge that the point system creates an imperative that you do race this way. That's not that top heavy. You don't get that much for winning, that much more for winning than you do for second. You get a little more. Personally, I would make the point system more top heavy, but we've gone over that ground before.
All right, issue number 3. Matt Willis over at the 4-letter often crunches the numbers and comes up with some pearls. And I found this stat interesting. Ryan Newman has failed to win a race in his last 34 starts from the pole.
You know, that's kind of an amazing stat, because all things being equal, starting from the pole should give you more of an advantage to getting the win than second, then third, then fourth. But obviously, we know that one fast lap does not translate into a fast race.
Well, only one lap counts, right? And it's the last lap of any race.
But you got to get there. See, you got to get there in position to win.
So it reminded me a little bit of what we've been saying about Kyle Busch. He's poised to go down in history as the greatest nationwide racer ever. Perhaps Ryan Newman is poised to go down in history as the greatest qualifier ever, or at least one of the greatest qualifiers ever. But is that really the reputation you want or the legend you want when your career comes to an end. I don't think it is.
It's not, but I think the thing is you can't say winning all those poles is a negative either.
No, it's not a negative.
It just shows you that speed during qualifying doesn't necessarily translate to the longer runs and the competitive situation on the racetrack during a race.
What's interesting is if you look at Charlotte, Ryan Newman said in qualifying he had to find a new line. He doesn't like running the high line at Charlotte, but he saw that that was the fastest line, and so that's the one he chose in qualifying. That was a departure for him, but was he able to translate that into the 600 itself? Well, not to the point where it got him a top 5 finish.
Well, we're going to have to wrap it up there for the Rowdy.com Big Three for today. For Buzz Cutler, I'm Bass Masters. Do join us at Rowdy.com. We got a lot of new people joining up over there. Make some friends. Express your opinion.
Express yourself. Isn't that a Madonna song?
I don't know.
Sing a little bit.
No, thanks.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to.
You love Madonna.
I do love Madonna, but I'm not going to sing.
Who doesn't?
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.